Welcome to KCRep's first ever Thursday night mixer. Hey out there.
Woo!
I'm Stuart Carden, the new artistic director of KCRep. And this week, which is our first week doing this series, our all KC lineup includes actor and playwright Darren Kennedy.
Oh, hey.
Actor and playwright Vanessa Severo.
Hi.
And KCRep's very own properties master, Grace Hudson.
Hey there.
We're so glad that you have joined us out there, and we're going to attempt to mix a drink together. So the idea behind this series was to have a conversation with some of KC's theater artists and KCRep, and also support and enjoy some local cocktails. So we've partnered this week with Lifted Spirits, and Lifted Spirits, the distillery, is doing a guest bartender series, and they're selling cocktail kits that we all have. And we're gonna enjoy and attempt to make Katie Ward's Summer of '99. So the first part of this is that we're gonna mix a drink, and then we're gonna talk, have a little bit of a creative conversation, and then we're gonna open up things for you all to comment on and ask questions, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves. So thanks for being here with us. Here we go. Are you ready, friends?
I'm ready for a drink.
I'm ready.
Ready.
I'm so much ready.
So let's make sure we all have the right ingredients.
Yes. All right.
Lifted Spirits vodka.
Check.
Thank you, Katie.
Got it.
Thank you, Katie Ward, by the way, mixologist. Then we've got this item right here. Strawberry syrup, lime juice. Yes.
Yes.
And then we've got basil mint hard cider as a finish. And I'm going to do mine over ice. How are you doing yours, Grace?
I'm gonna take mine.
Vanessa?
I have a shaker in the freezer. I'll be right
A shaker in the freezer. Okay, it must be nice. It must be nice to have it like that.
And Darren, are you gonna shake or stir?
I'm gonna because I'm a wee bit anal retentive. I'll be measuring it out, swirl, stir, and then drop some ice in. Which I know I have bartender friends that are now running for the exits to push me from oncoming traffic. Sorry, y'all.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's be about this.
All right.
If Katie Ward says 1.5, you all do whatever order you want, but I'm going to go in her order. 1.5 ounces of vodka.
Right, and I've always been told that you go the liquor first because the mixer is always heavier. Is that the truth?
I don't know.
It sounds like we should follow it, whether it's true or not. 1.5 ounces. Measure.
All right.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh,
Strawberry snuffers.
I know, right?
Tasty.
is it? Okay.
Okay.
And
Let's give it a little lift.
1.5 ounces of
Let's see. Oh,
strawberry syrup and lime juice.
Looks like I'm going to be having fun the rest of the week too.
Right? Like I love how it says make 17 cocktails. Nice.
Okay, this is going to be noisy.
We'll see you next week. Oh my goodness, you already did. Okay, I did get this advice from April Brewer, who has already, our assistant production manager, who has already enjoyed this cocktail kit. Definitely finish with the cider before shaking.
Okay.
okay. That I got.
Oh, you have a fancy stick.
It is a one of a pair of chopsticks. So, yeah, very tasty. And then we've got a basil mint hard cider as a finisher. Are we all there? Who's finishing?
I'm ready.
I just finished. I'm
Very
ready
good
whenever.
overachiever.
Okay. I'm getting there. And you just top this off with the.
I think you finished to your heart's desire on the cider.
And then, if you're so inclined, you garnish it with
Some
basil.
Basil.
You're going off-road.
Yeah.
So I also have available this lime. Do you guys think because it's strawberry lime, I should do a lime little swirl as well?
You can't ever go wrong with a
Absolutely.
lime.
I'm with Vanessa.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with a lime. Lime is your friend.
Okay. I'm personally sticking with Katie Ward, but that's my personal choice to stick with mixologist Katie Ward. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Look, well, great.
Aaron.
All the implements. Cheers, friend, to brighter days. Cheers.
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 Oh yeah.
Katie Ward.
Oh yeah.
Bubble.
It
This is
Just tastes like sunshine.
right. Well, this is where I live.
Say that again, Darren.
I said this is the kind of drink where I live. This is my cocktail. So
This is so good. Summer of '99.
It's right in here.
Fox and Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the bartenders at Fox and Pearl and guest series with Lifted Spirits Distillery. Cheers to them. And for those of you out there who got the kit in advance and are mixing with us, cheers to you again. An excuse to take another drink.
I mean, for what it's worth, y'all, you know, there's a great article going around about how '99 is one of the most important years in pop music.
Please tell me why.
Because you have
Did you write this article?
I wish. No. Although, I mean, I feel like I could have indulged in it. I mean, there was a lot going on with various people's favorite pop bands. So you had famous additions from the boy bands of the era. So Backstreet and NSYNC, the battle is getting pitched. 98 Degrees drops a few things. Destiny's Child is throwing out the later portions of Writings on the Wall before things, you know, go a little wacky. But let's see, you've got the tail end of some of Britney's first album. And also I think Christina's giving us Genie in a Bottle. So there's just some fun things that
like a rise of pop.
Yeah.
I feel like a backup name for this could be Genie in a Bottle.
That's where it lives.
I'm gonna call it Sabotage.
Thursday Sabotage by Katie Ward. It is
Thank you,
so
Katie.
refreshing. It is summer.
so good.
It's I'm trying to remember where I was in '99. Where were you, Grace, in '99? The summer of '99. Let's get
Summer of '99. I probably had my first job at Little Caesars. I was in high school.
Pizza.
Pizza. Yeah. Yes, '99. I remember everybody was like, you know, looking forward to, you know, the New Year's where the world was going to end. So that's
right.
pretty
The
much.
Y2K stressors.
Y2K.
I mean, they seem small these days in terms of something globally to worry about. Y2K seems very small. Summer of '99, Vanessa.
I was in San Francisco, but I was doing Repertory Theater in Santa Rosa. I was at Santa Rosa Repertory Theater. So I was doing 3 shows, and I can only remember I know Grease was one of them, but time and summer made the others go away.
And who did you play?
I played Frenchie.
Yeah.
You're the beauty school dropout.
I was. It was a great time though. I mean, don't to put a bunch of actors in Napa Valley for a summer is just dangerous. You know, every Monday you're like, today we're going to try more wine. You know? It was great.
And our next Monday off, we're gonna go try some more wine.
Yep.
That's amazing. Darren, summer of '99.
Summer of '99. Shoot. I do remember. I was about to say I don't remember. So I was doing summer youth theater, Bathhouse Players in Gage Park through Helen Hawker Theater in Topeka, and I was in a production of The Wizard of Oz. I was playing the lion. The funny thing is they had to get the costume that I think had been originally made for a production at at Starlight, but they had to actually remake it and alter it, and the size was literally petite, so I was called the Petite Lion by my classmates. I'm still a little scarred. Yes, Vanessa.
I love. Yes, add a little more layer to the Cowardly Lion. Also make him the Petite Lion.
Like, what else? Stuart, your turn. 99 summer.
So I was just about to go to grad school in Pittsburgh. So I was in New York City, and I'm trying to remember the name of the play. I was putting up a series of plays in the summer of '99 before grad school. John Castle was the playwright. And I loved this play. There was, the characters were the moon and the earth and the stars, and they were orbiting each other. And it was a love story. There was physics involved.
Please someone hit us up, and someone watching knows what this play's title is.
John Castle. I'm going to call John Castle after this and
right.
ask him what it is. This was a perfect. Thank you, Darren, for being a perfect segue into this conversation. So we decided we'd talk a little bit about creativity in this moment, and I had a couple questions for this group to ask them in this moment where we're sheltering in place, where very much the heart of what we do as theater artists, which is being in the room together, telling stories and connecting with audiences, has been disrupted by this virus. It has really hit at the heart of what we do on an emotional level, on an existential level, on a practical level. And we're all creative artists working in this field, and now the art form that we work in has been disrupted. So I'm interested in hearing from you all, if you're engaged creatively right now, what are you engaged in? And is it in the realm of theater, or are you engaged in other ways creatively in this moment? So I'm gonna just open it up to anyone who wants to answer first.
Go ahead, Grace.
Darren, your in-breath made the box go to you, so I think you have to go first.
You
breathe too hard.
I did. I breathed. I'm always reticent to go first in any sort of thing like this. So this is me stepping out on faith. As fair warning, Stuart, I know you had said let's enjoy each other, and I am enjoying this so much and have fun. I will say, throughout all of this, anytime that I've turned my head to that being creative question, it has been the opposite of fun.
Yeah.
So I will say, for a variety of reasons, for the first really month and a half of lockdown, I just was not, I wasn't having it. My creative self was like, now some of that is, I'm a full-time professor at KU, and was finding I needed to really spend time focusing on moving my class online and serving students and making sure that students, it was traumatic for them, but the trauma wasn't coming at least from my class or the things that were in my portfolio. And so I'd finish and the energy would be, yeah. But I think, like with so many things, it's made me lean into this idea of sometimes, that old farming idea of you farm a plot of land and then sometimes you need to let it lay fallow and it needs to rest. And so after things got kind of, the new normal settled into whatever routine it was going to be, that creative self woke up and said, boop, 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 boop. And so starting on the 1st of May, I said, all right, I'm going to give an hour to writing every day for the first 15 days of May. So far, I've been able to do that. And there was a new piece that I started working on and another piece that starting last night, I switched over to revising. So that's been that. So it's been both ends of the spectrum. Like,
yeah, Darren, that resonates really deeply.
It does.
I feel like each one of us as creative artists, and for some of us, we haven't made that turning point, but for a lot of us, there was a period where, especially because this has struck really at the heart of the work that we do and the way that we creatively express. For a lot of us, it's been really challenging. And it doesn't help when you see things like Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague. It makes you want to scream the type of pressure that comes from that degree of expectation. And I think for each one of us, there's an incremental turning point that has happened at different moments in this shelter in place, where we can start exploring and investing creatively. Yeah, that really resonates, Darren. How about you? For you, Grace?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of interesting for me. Theater takes up a lot of time, and I'm a mom, and I felt like now is my opportunity to really like dig in and find my roots, because my original background is in sculpture and in art. So this little bit of time that I can be home, I kind of built like a little home studio in my kitchen and I've been painting, and I've sort of found like a new rhythm in which, because my husband's taking guitar lessons and has always wanted to play guitar. So we have this thing where he does his lessons and I'm painting in the kitchen and the girls are working on their schoolwork. And it's very cathartic and sort of like we're all in our own worlds, but we're all like creatively doing things together, which is pretty great.
I am raising my kids wrong. That's what I just learned from that.
No.
So you all are engaging creatively and your kids are just doing their schoolwork on their own.
Well,
I'm failing as a parent.
That's not my world.
I need to get some. Can I steal some of your time, Grace, to give me some lessons on?
Well, my kids are also like 12 and 9, so they're pretty self-sufficient.
My twins are 8. They're only 1 year behind you.
Same here.
And then any moment are gonna, now that I'm talking about this, we're gonna bust in the door. And,
We heard you.
But you all bring up something else entirely. I mean, like I feel like we're just turning a corner on thinking about how parenthood and professional artistry and creativity meet up, and starting to think about, like getting programs for working parents in the theater just in these last couple of seasons. And now that's turned into a whole nother discussion now for folks who are trying to figure out like, oh yeah, this creative arts industry isn't just about avocation and hobby or just the soul, but it's also how I'm providing for family. Yes. And what does that mean? And what does our industry owe professionals who have families? I think that's a really interesting and important question.
I agree, and I think it was a conversation that was beginning to have real impact on the very beginnings of it, but the way that we engage in our work. And this moment has just put incredible pressure on that and asks you to have the conversation maybe before we're ready to in radical ways. So yeah, Vanessa, how about for you? Are you engaged in creative work right now? Or are you in similar to Darren?
A lot like Darren, I had the same journey. At first I thought, okay, I was revisiting this dark children's fable that I had worked on 10 years ago called Advice from a Spider, and I was like, oh, this is a great time. And every time I got into it, this darkness just kind of felt clinging on me, and I thought, I don't want to associate this feeling with this work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To put that to the creative outlet of it. And also my daughter is home doing school, and it's a whole different system, but she goes to French immersion school. So I would spend my time with my daughter listening to like, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying. You know, it was just like, I'm like Googling, translating. I'm like, okay, that means the girl jumped over the hill. Like, you know, it's just, it was maddening. I ended up doing something I didn't expect, which I think we all kind of did in a way. I went out in the backyard and I made this huge garden bed. And now I have so much lettuce. I don't know what to do.
Yes, lettuce.
Do you want lettuce? Because
Listen, trust. Part of me is like, I'm driving over after we get off this call.
Please come over. I've got lettuce, potatoes, sweet potatoes, celery, which my friend Joni Schultz did not believe I was growing, and I had to take photographic proof. It's easy to grow. Do you know you just take the end of the celery, you cut it, and you stick it in the dirt?
No.
And a little stalk comes up. Stuart's like,
I don't like
celery.
I don't like celery. It's true. I don't. I'm like, this sounds interesting, but.
But yeah, my husband's looking for his glasses. He'll never find them in here. I'm sorry, baby.
Well, that's the worst part. When you don't have your glasses on and you're looking for the glasses, you need
this is
your
an everyday
partner most. So I tell him I'm sorry that we're keeping you away from him to help him find the glasses.
He'll lose them in 10 minutes.
Well, let's transition and talk a little bit about what
Stuart.
I was like, Stuart.
What are you doing, Stuart?
Stuart.
You know, I have been deeply, you know, I'm new to this job. I don't know if you all know this. I've been here 8 months, and then a pretty radical thing happened. So I've been just deeply consumed and engaged with trying to wrap my head around all the variables that are coming at us as an organization, and really trying to stay focused on what's most important for a not-for-profit theater in this moment in terms of serving this community, and both in the middle of this and then also in the long term. So the artistic part of me as an artistic leader has really not been engaged in this time period. I've been engaged in creative conversations about what and how we're going to navigate this moment, and creative conversations in what the future of theater and KCRep might look like. But in terms of engaging my art form and engaging as a director and artist, I haven't been activating that in this moment. It was already the longest period I've never been in rehearsal. I made the choice when I came here to spend this whole season so I could really get to know audiences and really get to know this community that I wasn't going to direct during this first year. But the longest I had, for 20 years, the longest I've ever had between rehearsal periods was 3 months for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm already at almost a year not directing. And so that's weighing on me. That's weighing on me right now. That part of who I am and know myself, my identity is tied up with how I navigate a rehearsal and interpret a story with a group of artists and have those curious conversations with artists. So I haven't got engaged. Darren, go ahead. Sorry.
It's just, I saw you. It's my Scorpio spirit, so I'm always going into like let's go into the deep dark places. So, warning. But I think that's some of the most interesting conversations I've had with people for artists, where our work is ourself and ourself is our work, etc. When that gets taken away, it's not just, yes, we're working from home and what have you, but there's like a real core
an identity crisis,
right? Mm-hmm. And again, as I said to someone else, it's like, I understand almost every industry and field has just been, so I'm not saying that it's worse or bad, because I'm not into the Olympics on this, but it is something that specifically in our field hits us in a way that it may not hit in other occupations or other callings, because we're like, I got this thing. I still have the talent and all those things that made it possible, but suddenly the me doesn't get to be all that I thought I was called out here to do, or at least we got to find another way to do it. And that's been, and for a lot of folks that I'm talking to, that's been a real head turner.
Yeah. Yeah, Vanessa or Grace, do you have any reflections on that?
I know it's probably not super helpful to think of this, but I think that during challenges, our strengths come out, and realizing what those strengths are, it's easier to see what those are and put them into your work in the future. That's how my takeaway.
Yeah.
Something that is interesting, a lot of people have said that aren't in the theater industry to me, they're like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to have to reinvent the wheel. And I don't think we're going to have to reinvent the wheel. I think we're just getting a tire change. I think the car is stopped and we took the tire off and we're going to put a different tire on there, but the thing's going to run again. It's just going to run differently. And it helps me to think of it that way, because can't put a square peg on there. I think that we're going to find a way to make it move, and it might even go smoother than it did in the past, because like Grace said, when you are hit with challenges like this, it makes you stronger. It makes you realize how you can overcome it. How can you go through the ebbs and flows of it? And I had said to you, Stuart, it's a really challenging time for you to be here, but you're here for a reason. Like, you're cut to do it. So I will help you change the tire.
Thank you. We're all, how many theater artists does it take to change a tire? That's the question. It takes all of us.
Stuart, when the tire is the structure of American theater.
Vanessa, that was really lovely. Thank you for saying that. And I think we've all gone through, in all of us, all the plans we've made, personally, professionally, artistically, in any field that you're in, right? We all have to mourn the loss of those plans, and you have to take the time to do some mourning.
Yes.
And honor that mourning.
That's real.
And loss, before you can start looking at this moment as an opportunity And I feel like a lot of us are starting to make that turn from mourning the loss of what might have been and what could have been and what was planned and expected, and moving on to using this as an opportunity to use our art form to impact our neighbors and our community. And I genuinely believe that when we're able to gather again, we're going to be a part of what brings this community back together and helps them heal and helps them celebrate and helps them reconnect. And that's the moment that I'm dreaming of and gives me drive every day, is thinking about that moment. Let's talk about, if you're game, let's talk about what you're consuming creatively right now. What are you engaged with that, what are you engaged with right now that you're watching, you're reading, you're consuming? Think about this as like, this is what I'm doing, and also recommendations to a friend. And I'm going to jot notes down what you're engaged with right now. Vanessa, will you start?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, not it.
I took your Scorpio.
That's it. That's it.
Cirque du Soleil has been putting out this Friday on YouTube. They show their shows, and not something I thought that I would get into, but Ava wanted to watch it, and most of it's in French, which has been great because I'm like, what are they saying? And we've been like looking forward to that. You know, on Friday nights they release a whole one, and there's something really wonderful about going into something very surrealistic right now and not a reality kind of based program. I can't do that right now. I just can't. I can't watch like real life. So it's better to just go into the circus. But that's been really great. It's an hour long, and I think that for children it's really engaging and creatively open. And you know, if you're like me, I've only been able to see like one of those shows, and I was 26, you know, but now it's really gorgeous and artistically fun to go into it as a family. But other than that, I have just not had any desire to watch television.
Yeah, you've been gardening, it sounds like.
I've been planting all this lettuce.
Yeah.
And I might change your mind on celery.
Next week's cocktail has to have a lettuce component.
Just a whole thing of butter lettuce.
Vanessa Farmer McGregor, like out here with the lettuce.
I almost got chickens, and then I realized, Stuart, this is gonna end one day. I'll still have chickens. I was like,
oh, Vanessa, I have chickens. It's easy. You got this.
How many?
Race, you have chickens?
Yeah, I have chickens. They're amazing. Everybody was complaining about shortage of eggs, and I'm like, here, have some eggs.
That's why I was gonna live off my land.
They're lovely. They come right up to the door. They say hi in the morning. They follow you around the yard if you have treats. It's really fun. Sorry.
I would name one the Colonel.
There's going to be an explosion of chickens after this.
Probably.
What are the, like in the future, hundreds of years from now, we're going to look back and there's going to be a population boom of chickens that comes out of this period.
Good thing they don't live very long. We're going to be okay.
We'll be fine. I'm worried about the chickens.
I'm suddenly going to a dystopian future where the world is overrun by chickens.
Planet of the
What Grace, for you, what have you been consuming?
I'm kind of with Vanessa on this. Like, I didn't watch a ton of TV before this, and our single TV in our house happens to be at the work from home office downstairs. So it's like nobody wants to hang out down there. However, I did introduce my girls to Little Women, which was my favorite book when I was a kid, and we watched the movie that was made in the 90s, and then we watched the new Greta Gerwig one. They by far prefer the Greta Gerwig one. So if you're choosing between the two, go for the new one. So that's been like TV land. And then we are huge music fans. We buy lots of records. We have way too many records. We listen to a lot of music. And our kind of go-to has been, it came out in about January. It's Krungbin and Leon Bridges. It's a
Yes.
it's so good. It's so good.
It is so good.
What is it again?
Krungbin and Leon Bridges.
Bridges.
It's called Texas Sun, the album is. It's so good and like super chill, and it just makes you feel calm. It's beautiful. So that's been, and then also like you were mentioning earlier, Stuart, like just going back to like things that are familiar and safe feeling. So like things from my childhood, like Weezer and you know, those kind of things. We're listening to that a lot too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to admit something very embarrassing. I don't know why this was the case, but musically in week 2 of the Shelter in Place, I was like, I need some Norah Jones right now.
I'm sorry.
Call me.
Why is that embarrassing?
Beautiful.
Norah
It's not
Jones
like you were
is the
listening to
joint.
Tori Amos, which I would even be like, yes.
It came out of nowhere, but I was like, I need Norah Jones right now.
I need you to embrace your listening of Norah Jones.
And then I've been really the new Fiona Apple album is amazing. And I
Perfect. It's a perfect album.
On walks at night, and that's been one of the things in terms of like consuming some creativity that I've really enjoyed. Is like after the boys are in bed, I've been going out on a late night walk and just listening to a whole album, and not just songs.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I've been listening to
Remember
whole
when we used
albums.
to do that with our Walkman? I'm gonna do that. Darren, come here. Come get some lettuce. Let's go on.
Your walk human do that. Yeah.
Vanessa, don't tempt me.
You have your walk in
Come, I'll
one hand,
give
your
you my
lettuce
present.
in the other hand.
That.
That's amazing. Darren, how about you?
You know, so as I said, like the creative self for a long time was turned off, but I have been taking in creativity all over the place in all sorts of forms, because I'm single and I live alone. If anybody wants to fix that, the single part, feel free. But what's been interesting is it's just been, I had never until the beginning of this year seen any of the Star Wars universe. And so I committed myself to seeing everything, including like the animated series. So,
Wow.
so this allowed me to complete that project. There have been so many great ways of like connecting to friends who are elsewhere in ways that I just had not paused to really think through. So I've done some album listening parties where like a group of us will say, okay, at 3 p.m., we're all going to go into our streaming service and we're going to turn on this album and we'll listen to it all the way through. We'll get on a group chat and everyone talk. And so it's like people here, people in North Carolina, in New York. So we did Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
We did some like some album listens. The Met, the Met Opera in New York has made a good portion of their recorded pieces available for free. I said one day, you know what? Leontine Price's performance, her farewell performance in Aida is legendary. I said 3.5 hours, let's do it. And was blown away.
I'm taking that. Yeah. And the group listening party, yes.
So there's that. The producer battles going on Instagram. I was there for the Teddy Riley Babyface rematch, which though plagued with its own technical difficulties, was amazing. You know, I even did I caught up on the Sondheim 90 for those of us who are having these drinks, ladies who lunch.
Looks like you need another one, Darren.
I do. Don't
You do.
Dude, I really will stand up and wander.
You should mix another one. I think you should mix. Well,
But that's,
that is amazing. Thank you all for sharing what you're engaged with creatively. We're gonna transition now to say hi to the folks out there and open up the social hour for other people to join us. There's some people that I'm going to say hi to that we can all wave to, that we all know that are watching. Lisa Rothi. Hi, Lisa.
Hey,
and
Lisa.
Schultz is out there. And Michelle Tyreen Johnson. Hi, Michelle. John Rinsenhouse is out there. Those are a few folks, KC theater artists and also artists from around the country joining in and saying hi. Hi, friends.
Hey.
Hi, Mary Zimmerman. Just kidding.
Mary Zimmerman's here.
No, wouldn't that be so amazing?
Even Sondheim is also watching. Karen. So
Yeah.
you ready with the few
Good. Good. Excellent. Is he singing?
So folks have sent in some questions. Jen Spa, who has set this up and works in our marketing department.
Yay, Jen.
Who, hooray. Thank you, Jen, for facilitating this. She
you,
is sending some questions our way and some thoughts our way. I'm going to hit you with some questions. You ready? There's some specific questions for each one of you. Grace, what's your journey to becoming a props designer? You were talking earlier about painting, art making, sculpture.
Yeah.
What led you to designing properties?
So I never did any theater till after college, which I know is an unusual road for a theater person. But I needed a job after I graduated and had friends that were in theater and recommended that I do a paint internship actually in St. Louis. And I'm originally from Michigan. So it was my first big move was to St. Louis. I did a paint internship and loved it, loved the theater, loved the people, loved the production team and the collaboration that goes into building a show. And met a fantastic group of props people in St. Louis. And eventually one of them was from Kansas City. And after moving to New York and working freelance, I eventually reconnected with props people that I met in St. Louis, and they worked at the Rep, and they were like, you should apply. I'm about to leave the Rep to pursue other career options, but you should totally be a prop person. And that was 12 years ago. And Michael Shaw was the prop master then. Vanessa, I know you know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite people. He's an amazing mentor. And he invited me to just try props and see what my sculptural skills could sort of add to the team. And it just sort of grew from there. And I've been prop master for about 2 years.
And where have your sculpture skills? Is there a project or something you designed where your sculpture skills were most manifest?
Oh, I would definitely Little Shop of Horrors, because we did that. Was that 2012?
2012.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was Kyle Hatley directed that, and it was sort of I really want to build this. I don't know if I can. Will you give me the chance? And everybody was so supportive at the Rep, and they're like, yes, do it. And I learned so much. Those projects were, it's 4 puppets, and it was just overwhelming, how many different skills. You have to cast a hand, and sewing, and mechanisms, and welding, and all these different skills you have to use to it was amazing. Good opportunity.
That is great. I love it. I love it. I hadn't heard that journey to becoming a props designer from you. So that's very cool to hear, Grace.
Thanks for letting me share it.
Darren, question for you.
Yes.
Favorite playwright and why?
Oh gosh. That's super hard. Well, it's not even super, that's a lie. It's not that super hard. It is that it changes moment to moment. Ooh, I hate dead air, and I'm creating dead air. I will tell you, so I will say the playwright that got me into playwriting was August Wilson, and in particular, the piano lesson. This feels like this is going to feel like the second portion of this. I feel like this answer feels like really of the moment, but someone who is actually an amazing dramatist is Michael Jackson, who just won the Pulitzer for drama. His music and the lyrics are amazing.
Yeah.
In a strange loop, but he's actually a really fantastic dramatist as well, and so that's someone whose work I've always found a little bit mind-blowing, but in this last year I've just watched how a variety of things that he's created made me say, crap, wow, amazing. And you know, not for nothing, I had known of Stacey Rose's work before Yield New Works Festival, but I mean, getting to be dramaturg on it, here I am, come back, there I am, my phone. But as just a mind-blowingly good writer who's fearless, yeah, I'm gonna get on board that train.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have loved that experience both before and through working on Legacyland. So there's three in a constellation.
Love it, Darren. And so Stacey Rose wrote Legacyland out there. Those who were lucky enough to see it, that just premiered and had an opening and closing during our Origin KC New Works Festival. And Darren partnered very generously as dramaturg with Stacey Rose in the development of that world premiere. That's the Stacey Rose reference, who's phenomenal. And that piece, I agree. Some of those scenes, the level at which the character detail and relationship dynamics were so richly rendered, and she's moving plot at the same time. You know, like those characters feel so rich and defined and jump off the page. And that type of effortless, and it takes a ton of effort, but that feeling of effortless dialogue that at the same time is moving plot and story forward, just amazing. Yeah.
All of that. All of that. And I've used, so as I said, I'm a professor. I was, one of my students who was doing independent study with me had put a scene with a family and they're playing Candyland. And for those that haven't gotten to see Legacyland, I'll just say briefly, there's a very important scene that goes around the playing of a game of Monopoly in it. And I found myself like in the portion of teaching the students saying, okay, I'm going to describe to you how Monopoly works in Legacyland. So there's so much, and I say all that to say there's so much that Stacey does in her writing that I think for her feels really intuitive, and I believe that it is, but it is also structurally brilliant. And it's like something where you want to bring young writers to and say, study this.
Yeah.
Sit and watch what she did here, because what it is pretty masterful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one example.
Completely agree. Stacey Rose, shout out. Vanessa, a question for you. Okay, in the same way that Darren was put on the spot, putting you on the spot Vanessa. Dream role. Dream role. What is Vanessa's dream role?
I've been asked that before, just once before.
And did they live?
They did live. You know, I have to be really honest with you. I feel like I've been really, really lucky and blessed to play so many things I never ever thought that I would get to play.
Yeah.
And I answered this question, and I'm going to answer it the same way because it is the honest to God truth. I don't have a dream role. If the role terrifies me, then I know I'm supposed to do it. Maggie the cat terrified me.
Oh my God, Vanessa, I was actually literally about to say, I was like, what terrified you about Maggie? Because I got to see it and you were amazing. And Michelle and I were talking about this thing.
Oh, thank you.
God, Vanessa.
Lisa had to, I think, reconstruct my brain. It's like Maggie the cat is such an interesting. She's so strong, but yet she is vulnerable, and she wants something that she can't have. She's like the ultimate fighter. She's a scrapper, you know, but you can't play her that way. There's so many like layers to Maggie the cat that she's this tiramisu, and it's like, what layer do you want to show right now? And Tennessee Williams does a great job in giving you just little, and Lisa was very patient with me in all of that, because it is a hard role. It is a very difficult role. And I think it's one of those things where you get it and you're like, oh yes, an American classic. Yes. And then you're like, oh no, an American classic. You know, you can't fudge any of that. And so if it scares me, I want to do it. And therefore, I would say the best answer to give is that my dream roles have probably been every single thing that I've gotten the chance to do. And I will know what they are in the future. One day I'll play Grace.
What?
Grace is like totally sorry.
I was actually thinking, Vanessa, I loved Frida so much. And I know you wrote that, but it was like, I feel like that is the dream role for you. Like you embody that character so beautifully that I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. I love speaking for Frida. I hope she likes it too. I try to do it justice, you know. Thank you. Thank you so
I know
much.
there are other questions, but I've actually always wanted to ask you this ever since you did Frida. I remember Katori Hall saying that, you know, she started writing because there weren't roles that she liked. You've created Frida. Like what else out there exists for you in terms of roles that you wish you could see more of that would be like, yeah, that's a Vanessa role?
I don't know. Lately, I feel like I want to step into some male roles, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind, you know, I don't know, some male roles. Maybe I'll.
And what about that draws you?
I think there's an interesting idea where I think if you take a play, like say, and I can say it because we're on Zoom, say you take Macbeth. Are we supposed to spit over our shoulder?
No, we're in our houses.
I'm in a rental. I can't spit anywhere. I'm in a rental.
But if you take those characters, so you got Macbeth, you got Lady Macbeth, and what if you just switch the genders on that? The story is still being told, but what is the difference that's happening? You know, like what part of the soul is actually coming forward? And I feel like doing something like that, I think there's a lot of masculine in feminine. I mean, I think it's a very fluid thing. And I like connecting with people on different levels. And that's what I have missed more than anything out of this quarantine, is that we as artists, we are made to connect with other humans. Humans are the answer. It's the sweetest answer, and we thrive on it. There is an energy shift that happens when we do what we do, which we're missing right now. But I think that there's an interesting element of masculinity that lives in all of us, and I would like the chance to explore it.
I love
That's
that.
like forever on Facebook.
Yeah, forever on
I'm gonna look-
Facebook, it's out there.
I'll play Macbeth.
There you go. Say it. Claim
people,
it. Claim it.
the Facebook people say Hamlet is the role for her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Lisa
Facebook
Rothy
people.
says, Vanessa, you were lovely to work with. I love that process. And you were very open and specific and powerful.
Oh, she was great.
And
you, Lisa.
Katie Gilchrist, hi friend.
Hi, Katie.
Hey, Katie.
She has asked a question that is gonna, thank you, Katie, for this, that's setting up the question that I had planned at 6:55. I'm never on time. And yet, Katie, you helped me get there with this question. She asked, what are you each looking forward to most when you come out of this? And I had planned, Katie, you and I had planned on asking this question and gave them
Virgos.
a little advance.
Virgos.
Virgo, yes.
So Virgo.
Gave them a little advance warning, which is Grace. First of all, Grace, Vanessa, Darren, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you,
Great.
Stuart.
Thank you.
So good to see you. So good to share a drink with you. So good to have a respite, and even in this medium, return to some normalcy for a little while. It's been really fun conversation. So thank each and every one of you for doing this. And now I'm going to ask you the question, which is, when you're able to get it back out, get social again, what will be the first thing that you drink, eat, and experience in KC? What will be the first thing that you eat, drink, and experience? And I gave them heads up that this question was coming. So Grace, would you mind sharing first?
Yes, I'll go first. Okay,
What
so
you would
there's a
drink, eat, and experience in KC when we get out of our houses.
got it. Okay, so my first drink is going to be with all my girlfriends at the W in Lee Summit, which is a little speakeasy that you gotta like get all sneaky to get into, and the cocktails are amazing. So that's my first drink. My eating experience will be chicharrones at Port Fonda, because that is like crunchy and bad for you, and salsa is so good. I'm so excited for that. And then my experience is going to be hopefully Powell Gardens, which I think they're opening like soon, like maybe today or yesterday, to see the wisteria in bloom. And I'm very excited about that.
What gardens? I'm so new here. I don't know anything.
Powell Gardens is the Kansas City's botanical garden. It's out off 50 Highway.
It's about a 45-minute drive, Stuart, but it's worth it. And they've got things for the boys to go on too. Like they always have something for kids.
I'm going off camera to write down notes. So, Darren, how about for you?
Drink, I want any number of drinks on the upper balcony of Parlor. With
Writing that down.
Well, some specific friends. But I want, that's not even funny. I want to get twisted on some craft cocktails on the upper balcony of Parlor. Food. This is a controversial choice, but because I really crave having someone literally yell at me, "Hi, may I help you?" I will be getting some Gates barbecue. Just to have someone yell something in my face, a human being. I need you to understand how much I need that in my life right now. And then the thing is, this is probably the nostalgia of it. I may regret it, but I want to go to Worlds of Fun. That's what I want to do. I want to get my summer back. I want to get the world back and go to Worlds of Fun.
I love it. Vanessa, how about for you?
I want to go to the West Bottoms, and I want to go to Campground and have a cocktail there. They've got a mixologist there, and they're really fun drinks, and they'll put like a toasted marshmallow in there, and it's a really cool kind of undiscovered area. To eat, I love Corvino's Supper Club because you can have 10 people and then just like pick 5 different things and then like, and it's delicious and rabbit. And Darren, I'm kind of with you. The first thing that came to my mind is I think I just want to ride a roller coaster.
Right. I hear you. I'm there.
I didn't have that when Stuart was like, think about your answer. I was like, a beautiful stroll by the, I don't know. I had different ideas, but the roller coaster speaks to me.
I love
You
it.
and me both.
Mm-hmm.
I
What
love
about
it.
you, Stuart?
Listen, I'm so new here. I don't even know. I do.
Well, Stuart, if you were going to jump in a car, let's say if you had the choice of Kansas City or jumping in a car and going to Chicago, we'll bend to the
No,
rules.
I will stay Kansas City.
Okay.
But it's just a limited. I've only been to a few places. So
Well, what are your favorites?
But I do like, and I gave you a little hints on this already, but I do, you know what? I want to go to the top of that awesome coffee multi-floor.
No.
What was that?
What?
Multi-floor fireplace outside, downtown, coffee shop, bakery. I want to go there and have a coffee on the roof by the fireplace. I had a couple.
Someone jump into the comments and tell the
I'm
three
sure
of us
they know
what he's talking about.
I'm sure they know what's going on. But I want to go there, which I had a couple sunrise work moments. Messenger coffee.
Yes.
I want to sit on the roof of Messenger and have a coffee again, like I did doing some work early here. I do love the mac and cheese at Westside Local. I love mac and cheese at Westside Local. And then I haven't been there, but it was on my list and I wanted to go. But Green Lady Lounge to hear some jazz was on my list of like next things to do, and I hadn't gotten to it yet. So I'm dreaming of going there.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
We'll get there.
Can I go?
What was that, Grace?
When it opens back up, we should all go together. That'd be fun.
I know.
We'll
just be there. We'll be at the table and be like, Stuart,
we have celery and lettuce at the table.
I brought my lettuce. Grace brought a chicken.
I so appreciate all of you and this conversation, and I'm really grateful that you're willing to spend an hour with me and talk a little bit about creativity and talk a little bit about cocktails and have some spirited conversation and some laughter. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you, Stuart.
We're going to do this. We're going to do this every week for a while, and so you can join us if you had fun, and we're engaged by the conversation. We're going to do this every week on Thursday at 6 p.m. With some other Kansas City theater artists next week, and a different craft cocktail, and we'll be announcing what that partnership is, and you can order drinks beforehand and you can mix alongside of us and then engage in the conversation. So thanks everybody, and cheers to you all.